The terminal was buzzing the way it always does, rolling suitcases, PA announcements slicing the air like static blades, people doing that half jog when they realize they're late but still trying to look composed. Gate C-28, Dallas-Fort Worth, final boarding call for Sky Vista 318 to San Francisco. Marvin Tate stood there calm, beige slacks, navy sweater, no briefcase, no Rolex, nothing flashy. Just a plain black leather carry-on and a look that said he'd done this more times than he cared to count. If you didn't know better, you might guess he was a teacher. Which was perfect, because Marvin liked being underestimated. Group 1 now boarding, came the call. Marvin stepped forward, but just as he did, a younger white guy in a sharp blazer cut in front of him like Marvin was invisible. The gate agent barely flinched, just said, "Sir, Group 3 hasn't been called yet." The guy gave Marvin a dismissive glance and stepped back, smirking. Marvin didn't say a word, just nodded at the agent, scanned his pass, and walked the jet bridge with the quiet confidence of someone who knew exactly where he belonged. Seat 2A. First class. Window. The cabin was still half empty, the AC humming softly. Across the aisle, a mom was juggling a screaming toddler, a juice bottle, and what looked like the remains of her patience. Behind him, you could hear the muffled banter of 3 guys in suits throwing around words like cloud migration and burn rate, like they were auditioning for a TED Talk. Marvin just sat back, folded his hands, and waited. "Champagne or sparkling water before takeoff?" asked the flight attendant, Jenna Wallace. Mid-30s, hair in a perfect blonde bun that polished smile flight crews are trained to wear like armor. "Water, thanks," Marvin said, tone neutral. She nodded and moved on. Minutes later, the pilot's voice crackled through the intercom, deep, old school, and carrying the swagger of someone who thought charm and condescension were the same thing. "Welcome aboard, folks. Captain Rick Donahue here. We're cruising at 35,000 feet today en route to San Francisco. Should be smooth sailing, unless folks in the back get rowdy again. Just kidding, kind of." You could feel it. The air changed. The silence after his words wasn't just silence. It was judgment. It was the type of joke that wasn't really a joke. The kind folks like him had been getting away with for decades. Marvin didn't flinch, but he caught Jenna's subtle wince as she returned to the aisle. She glanced at him, almost apologetic, like she knew. "Captain Donahue's, old school," she said awkwardly. "Flew in the Gulf War. Sometimes he doesn't realize how it sounds." Marvin nodded once, slowly. That was all. In the back, a 25-year-old named Tyrese Gordon had already clipped the audio and posted it, captioned, "Racism flying high. Guess who's driving the plane?" He didn't know that the quiet man in 2A wasn't just a passenger. He owned the damn airline. At 35,000 feet, Jenna brought another round of drinks. "Should be smooth from here," she said. "Sorry again." "The captain. He's not bad. Just not exactly PC." Marvin looked at her. "Do you know who I am?" She blinked. "Should I?" "No. That's the point." He typed a quick message on his phone. That was all it took. By the time they landed in San Francisco, news had already begun to spread. Tyrese's video went viral. Marvin didn't leave his seat until the cabin was empty. Outside, his assistant Greg waited with a tablet in one hand and a blazer in the other. Emergency board meetings at 5. CNN's calling. Twitter's melting. "We've got uploads everywhere." "Good," Marvin said. That night, the board issued a formal statement. Marvin's name wasn't on it, but the media figured it out. Headlines lit up. Black CEO flies incognito, exposes racism on his own airline. People loved the twist. Loved the silence. Loved the sting. What they didn't know, what even Marvin hadn't expected, was that the pilot who made the joke was Rick Donahue, his half-brother, the one he hadn't seen in 32 years. The boardroom the next day was sterile as ever. All glass and chrome and expensive views. Marvin sat at the head of the table. The others filed in, mostly white, mostly male, all nervous. Russell, the COO, tried to ease in. "Captain Donahue's been with us 30 years. "And loyalty to decency?" Marvin asked, voice flat. "Christina from PR said they needed a face. The press wants someone to speak." "I will," Marvin said. "On my terms." "And the captain?" Greg asked. "Suspended," Russell said. "Fired," Marvin corrected. "And Jenna, too." That caused some discomfort. "She didn't de-escalate," Marvin said. "She made excuses. There's a difference." That night, Jenna sat in her apartment, the internet turning her into a meme. Her apology video flopped. "I didn't know he was the CEO" became a punchline. No job offers. No pity. Just silence. Meanwhile, Tyrese blew up, interviews, reposts, followers in the hundreds of thousands. Respectability doesn't save us at 35,000 feet, he said in one clip. Marvin saw it. Recognized the name. Tyrese had been a Tate scholar. His grant to Howard? Signed by Marvin himself. You want me to reach out? Greg asked. No, Marvin said. Let's see who he is when he doesn't know I'm watching. Then Greg brought the file. Rick's HR record. Page 183. A complaint from 1994. Racially insensitive remark. Withdrawn. Filed by R. Tate. Marvin stared at the page. Silent. Greg didn't push. I thought your brother. He is. Was. Back in Dallas, Rick sat in a country club bar, whiskey in hand, ranting. It was a joke, he said. People are too sensitive. Then someone told him. The guy in 2A? He owns the airline. Rick laughed, then stopped. He Googled. Saw Marvin's photo. Same eyes. Same silence. Glass slipped from his hand. Shattered. He stumbled out of the bar. Later, in a hangar office in San Francisco, Rick stood waiting. When Marvin entered, the air turned thick. Long time, Rick said. 32 years. I didn't know it was you. I know. It was a joke, Marv. It matters what you said, Marvin replied. What you always say when you think no one important is listening. Rick's voice cracked. You got everything. I just flew planes. You flew over the people you left behind, Marvin said. Then, you're done. No pension. No plaque. You disappear. Rick looked down. You were my brother, Marvin said. You still are. But this part of your story ends now. Rick asked, do you hate me? Marvin paused. No. I just stopped waiting for you. And walked out. Next morning, reporters swarmed SkyVista HQ. Marvin faced them. I won't comment on family, he said. But I will say this. Silence ends today. Tyrese watched him from the crowd, finally understanding. Weeks later, Marvin invited Tyrese to HQ. You don't need to explain, Marvin said. I watched your videos. They mattered. You were my sponsor? Tyrese asked. I remember your essay, Marvin said. About your grandma singing spirituals during blackouts. A pause. I'm starting something new. A reform committee. You'll be on it. Why me? Tyrese asked. Because you spoke first. I'm in. And just like that, the change began. Training. Transparency. A wall in the lobby with faces never seen before, janitors, crew, baggage staff. Labeled the real founders. Tyrese stood beside it. You like it? He asked. It's overdue, Marvin said. You stayed. I almost didn't. What changed your mind? You. Not because you gave me a seat, but because you got up from yours. Marvin smiled. Said nothing. In Oregon, Jenna now trained new hires. When a trainee asked, what if the pilot says something offensive, she paused. You take it seriously, she said. Even if it costs you. No one asked further. In Alabama, Rick filed to amend his birth certificate to finally acknowledge his black mother. Sent a copy to a San Francisco P.O. box. No note. Marvin didn't reply, but he kept it. 1 year later, he sat again in 2A. Silent flight. No speeches. Just presence. Over the intercom, we hope to earn your trust, not just your ticket. In the cockpit, Captain T. Gordon. Marvin smiled. Now tell me, what would you have done in seat 2A? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's justice to you? Exposure? Silence? Or something in between?